is not how many you concede, not how many you score. It's goal difference.
Okay, George,
I
stop
don't.
right there. Stop right there. So there, you know that I'm going to support you there because there is a statistic on Twitter since yesterday showing that in the last 101 games we have scored, our goal difference is 35 or thereabouts. With And in the last 101 games of Wenger, our goal difference is 75. He scored, Wenger's team scored, if my memory serves me, 160 something goals, while we are lumbering at 100 and just over 100. I could go back to the stat on. I saved it on
Yeah,
Twitter. So
and
yes,
let's get it right.
yes,
That was Wenger's worst period.
exactly. So so get it, George. You're saying that what is goal difference telling us? I know the goal difference was 70 something for Wenger, and now it's 30 something for the last 101 games, including Arteta's era.
Well, it's telling us that we can't score enough goals. It's not because we haven't got the players to do it. You can't say, oh, we've only got Aubameyang. Fuck's sake. Most teams in the world would be happy to have Aubameyang and have had Aubameyang for the last 2 years. So we just can't score enough goals. You've got to score goals to win. It's a simple game, and people complicate it. The idea is to score more goals than the opponent. It doesn't matter how many the opponent scores if you score more. But if you can't score more, you can't win. So concentrating on defence is fine. If you have to defend well, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you ignore defence. You have to defend well. Players have to know what they're doing. They have to be capable. But we look back at the Wenger years, and the defenders were exposed from time to time. The midfield had pushed on, and everybody was in the opponent's half, and they'd break away and they'd score against the run of play. And you think, oh, that's terrible. Is it terrible, though? Was it terrible? Because as long as we were winning more games than not, we were coming out in front. Whereas now, we're losing more games than we're winning. We're literally losing more games than we're winning. With our wonderful, shiny new defence, we've lost 11 fucking games. How can that be right?
By the way, George,
Justify it? How can you justify Arteta improving us by saying we concede less goals when we win less games? It's fucking nonsense equation. Absolute shite. It's like Arteta's fucking maths. It's a joke. When he'll tell you that they only had a 3% chance of fucking winning and they've beaten us 3-0. He's paint by numbers fucking style of football. Yeah, and he's paint by numbers, and the numbers are crap. The numbers don't add up. His maths is terrible. I think that's his problem. He might know a lot about fucking football, but he knows shit all about maths. The idea that people are justifying an improvement because of conceding less goals is as ridiculous a notion as you'll come across in football, because it doesn't win you games. Scoring goals more than them wins you games.
George, here's a statistic. I look it up. Last 101 games under Wenger, 183 points, a positive 73 goal difference. The 101 games since Wenger has left, it's only 160 points. That's 23 points difference. And a plus 35 goal difference. Nearly 40 goals difference in terms of what we're scoring against the opposition. So we are scoring. Yeah, we're keeping them down. Adrian Clark has gone saying that we're conceding less goals. But Adrian, we're not scoring any. And there's little hope of us scoring more, in my opinion. By the way, George, so Arteta was whining that we couldn't provide the final ball. Right?
I know where you're going with this.
Yes, George. So I said, well, you got rid of Ozil. Ozil was the master. I mean, you got rid of him. You got rid of him. Why are you complaining? So I posted that, and Jeff Arsenal, good friend of ours, kept Ozil didn't turn up for all these games. Why the selective treatment of Ozil? Auba didn't turn up for big games. They said Giroud didn't turn up for big games. In fact, perhaps the only person who turned up for a big game was Ramsey, and we got rid of him on a free because Ramsey would turn up with that goal from up here in the box in the at a dangerous moment. Then I thought about it. We beat United a few years ago, and who provided the final ball to Sanchez? It was Mesut Ozil. It was a team game. Why the selective memory? So I see all the mindless lemmings jumping on. What has the last few months proven? He now went and got Odegaard when he suddenly remembered that he had ESR sitting on the bench. But none of them could make a difference because Odegaard, just like Ozil, was isolated from Aubameyang and did not link up with either Saka or with Pepe or with I call Saka's name because Saka was on the other side. Don't you see that we're not improving in the offensive part of the game? Did you see all of that? This kerfuffle? I think these guys are missing the point. It is a team game. It is a game where if you do not have somebody who can spot the forward, like you say, and let Auba get free on goal, you're not going to score. Your thoughts?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we've been praising, or when I say we, a lot of the fan base have been praising Odegaard and Emile Smith-Rowe, and they're not half the players Ozil was at any point in his career. Even with a bad back, they're not as good as Ozil was. And it's clear now that he wants to use those creative players. So this exposes the lie that he told that we didn't need a player like Ozil. Because he's gone out and got a player like fucking Ozil. Only just nowhere near as good as Ozil. And dear old Jeff saying that Ozil didn't turn up in big games. The fact is that statistically, factually, he turned up in big games with goals and assists more than anybody else.
That's weird. The data is there.
That's a fact.
Right.
More than Sanchez in big games, he was the one that turned up with goals and assists. But he's not going to be Steven Gerrard. He's not going to go on rampaging runs from midfield. Mm-hmm. He's not going to do it. You've got to give him the ball. You've got to play the game to suit him. Just like you have to let Aubameyang play the game to suit Aubameyang, you would have had to let Ozil play his natural game. The game that made him world class. Not fucking try to mould him into some sort of Scott Parker Makalele fucking hybrid.
Yes.
It's nonsense. But the damage is done. This is the problem. Arsene Wenger's been gone 3 years now, almost. And the damage is done. We can't go back because all the players have gone. All the muscle memory has gone. All the patterns of play have gone. All the fucking class that we have has gone. Everything has gone. So we can't go back. There's no point us pining over the loss of Arsene any longer because it was a mistake that's cost us dearly and we just have to move on from it. It's how we move on. And people ask me a question all the time and it's a very difficult question to answer. You know, you're telling people what's wrong and what Arteta's shortcomings are. And the answer is, they ask me a simple question, what would you do? Like, I should know the answer of how to put it right. Oh, I don't, because I'm not a fucking world-class manager. But what I would do is, I'd sack Mikel Arteta. And I'd get somebody in who can use this squad, and I don't mean start again, You hear this argument all the time. Oh, well, that means another rebuild, bringing his type of player. No, you don't get a manager that needs his type of fucking player. Get a manager that can use the players that we have. And we have some good players. We don't have as good a players as we had when Arsenal left us, but we still have good players. And what you need is a manager that can use and improve those players, get those players, and he might not even be as good a coach as Mikel Arteta on a one-on-one basis. But as a manager, he might be able to use, or he should be able to use, this squad. This squad should no way be 10th or 11th or 15th or whatever we've been this fucking season. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous. And the only person you can blame, there'll be other, you can, when you look at how bad things have got, you can blame a lot of people. You can blame Josh Kroenke, you can blame Ivan Gazidis, some even blame Arsene, ridiculous as it sounds. They'll blame the players, they'll blame fucking Gunnosaurus, they'll blame Sven for not scouting better, and there may be some merit in that. Some of all of those people might have contributed in some small way to us going backwards. But at the moment, the biggest drawback is Mikel Arteta. And he has no resume to speak of, because his resume is as a coach of players, not the coach of a team. And it's clear that coaching a team hasn't worked. It's failed. It's failed because we're 10th. It's failed because we've lost 11 games. It's failing. And I give him another 2 windows. Get him his players. Fucking how much damage do you want to do? Seriously, how much more damage do you want to let the guy do? And for me, he would have to go. And that's it. That would be how, when they say to me, the simple question, what would you do? I'd sack him for a start. And I'd get somebody that could use the good players we have. I mean, you see players getting criticised now. Xhaka, Bellerin, Lacazette. These are some of our better fucking players.
Well, Lacazette is our top goal scorer this season, George, and he's getting snagged.
I think Aubameyang's.
Did he pass him with that
hat trick? Goal more than him now.
Yeah,
but he might not be the best fucking player. I mean, for me, he was a backward step from Giroud. But, however, he's not a bad player, and none of them are. None of them are. Even El Neni, for all the criticism he gets. We're playing Manchester City yesterday. 97% passing, El Neni. 97%.
Really?
That's really good.
Yeah.
Given the way that they press as well.
Yes.
But to do that, he had to sit deep to get a lot of space and time to make those passes. So it's slightly deceptive. If he'd have been in the middle of the field or in the opponent's half and getting a 97% passing, that would really have been exceptional. But my point is, he's not a bad player, and he's at the bottom of the pyramid. So,
well, George,
the simple problem is Mikel Arteta.
Well,
and I can't, and I don't see how people can see improvement, and I don't see how they can think it's suddenly going to get better when it's progressively got worse.
Oh well, George, you won't have any arguments from me, but I'll tell you. There is a whole ton load of people, some of them very influential on social media, who think that he needs 2 more windows. We have spent £300 million since Wenger left, and what do we have to show for it? 10th?
And I'll tell you now, Shotta.
Yes.
I've been saying it all along. We'll be lucky to finish 10th.
Well, George,
we'll be lucky to finish 10th.
Well, that's a very grim prospect. But, George, to wrap this up, we have Leicester coming up next week. I'm not. Well, we have I'd like to tell people I'm not focused on the Europa League. I really don't have any bandwidth for it. But we have Leicester coming up, and they present a different problem from City. Don't think because they are lowering, they are third, I think, because Manchester United overhauled them with their win over Newcastle over the weekend.